I was having this conversation with somebody the other day, and the question I had was, if the rank list has not been finalized, and there is this candidate whose mentor reached out to the program and was like, oh, I have this guy, and I think he's fantastic, he has great clinical skill, and I think he's going to be a great fit for your program because of XYZ. His strengths align with your program strengths. Does that help?
And trust me, those are the only three things which are considered in rank order list.
In that final day, when the final rankings is being compiled, what are the things that are emphasized that put people up, people down, or just leave people neutral?
And then the last piece is whether the program will be able to train you. Let me give you an example. If some candidate comes in and says, the only place my future plan is that I only want to do electrophysiology from Harvard.
What would your advice be in terms of the approach for someone who is going to apply to SOAP?
And utilize your signaling. If you have signaled some programs, it should match the places where you want to go. And that is how you make your rank order list.
For those people who are currently turning in their rank order lists, what is the one thing you will leave with them as an advice from a program director?
No doubt about it. And if somebody tells you that you can't, stay away from those people.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Recently, we have these changes in immigration status, and some countries have been placed on ban. And there is like uncertainty. The H-1B now has the $100,000 cap. What is the perspective of the program leadership and program directors? What are your thoughts about applicants who are stuck in this limbo?
Ladies and gentlemen, today we have Dr. Asim Chiklo. Dr. Asim Chiklo is a very versatile internal medicine physician. He has many hats. He is the program director, and where he has been the program director for over the last 5 years. Additionally, he is board certified in internal medicine and obesity medicine. Also, he's the chief of hospital medicine, and he is deeply committed to research, residency, wellness, and so many other layers. He is such a fantastic and multifaceted physician. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Dr. Asim Chiklo.
That was a very nice introduction. I really appreciate you and your time.
So, thank you very much. We're very happy to have you today. The reason why the couple of things we want to talk about today is, we want to talk about the residents that are currently going through the process of residency. And right now, around January, February, March period, it's a very tense period. Everybody is anxious. Everybody is, scrambling for answers. And we have a couple of things that are on our mind. The first thing that everybody wants to know about is, as a program director, what is your view and opinion about the letter of intent to rank from the candidates to the program?
Sure. So when you're talking about the letter of intent, I think you're talking about their email or their communication with us after they have interviewed in the program, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll tell you this. We all are human beings first, and then the program directors or doctors, right? And I think at a very basic level, human beings are social beings, and they love to connect and communicate, right? So I always say this, that there is no harm in sending a letter of intent, right? Now remember this, the cognitive burden on the program directors in the residency program is such that they might not be able to read through all of the letter of intents or be able to reply to you. But it doesn't mean that they will not appreciate that you have sent them a letter of intent. So I would say, if you just think from a common sense standpoint, it's a way of communication, it's a way of you showing interest, and there should be no harm to it.
Fantastic. And now, the post-interview email, thank you, that's great. How about that email, that last email that we often send and say, hey, I had a wonderful interview and I love your program. I am going to rank your program number 1, and I am hoping to come to your program. What's the opinion of program leadership and program directors about that email?
So I would say, when you're showing very keen interest in a program, I always want to see whether that is a generic email which is being sent to all the programs or it is. So I think the answer to your question is, that email showing your interest in the program, right? I always want to see that this is not a generic one where the candidate has sent the same email to all the programs. When you're showing an interest to a particular program and you're stating that this program is going to be your high choice, a number 1 choice, or in the top few choices, you need to know a little bit more about the program, and you have to write an individualized email about that, which showcases that you really understood the culture of the program, or you really understand what the program is all about. Again, no harm in sending a generic email as well, but that might not go a long way. But if a email is very individualized, it can go a long way.
Wow, that's good to know. So we have to individualize our emails. Fantastic. Just take us back to your own personal experience. Do you recall when you first participating in ranking the first time? What was the part of ranking that surprised you the most?
Perspective, right? When I can have one single perspective and I can take a decision about the rank order list, but if you involve a panel and you choose a panel with the best of your intents, right? You are going to have a very good discussion and you're going to have very good choices of who you're going to rank. So I think the most important part is perspective and not forgetting that you have a team who is going to be working with you and the incoming residents, and their perspective is extremely important. I can tell you it has happened multiple times that I might have thought that the candidate is very good or not very good. And when I heard the perspective from the whole team, it was completely different. And then you can reflect back upon and think of, hey, you know what? This is something I learned today. And we come from different backgrounds, and we within this health system are so diverse that everybody's voice is so important, because we cannot understand every culture, we cannot understand every diversity, right? And we have applicants from everywhere, and we have applicants who are IMGs and US graduates. So having that diversity on that table is extremely important.
Wow, great perspective. That's phenomenal. And so, when I was applying, there was this huge distance between the applicants and program directors. There was very few access to program directors. We as applicants, we had no idea what the expectations were. And I'm glad that it's not as scarce as it was then, but even now it's still very scarce. Resident applicants don't have that access to the main source of information to help guide them through this moment. What are the common misconceptions that applicants have about program directors?
I think one of the misconceptions the applicants have for the program director is that we are here to judge and be in a position to not select you. No, that's not what we do. We have already screened and gotten your profile screened, and you're on that table because now we want to know you better and we want to convince you to come here. It's not the other way around. It's not to grill you and to scare you away from the program. It is to know you better and convince you to come to the program.
Wow. Actually, when I was applying, this is what I thought. I thought I was going to get in there, I was going to get drilled, going to get judged, and get wow. And so just coming to the current, where these current applicants are. In the last few minutes, we're talking about future applicants. It's like coming back and talking about the current applicants who are currently about to start submitting their rank order list. What would your advice be in terms of applicants? How you would say create a rank order list for yourself as an applicant?
And are you talking about the applicants who will be the future applicants of the next cycle, or the applicants which have already applied?
No, the ones that are currently applying, not the future applicants.
Okay, so if I got your question right, you're talking about how do they maximize their chances of matching?
Yeah, I mean, like, what would you advise them to consider when making their rank order list?
Make the rank order list according to where you want to go, and utilize your signaling. If you have signaled some programs, it should match the places where you want to go, and that is how you make your rank order list. Simple. There is no rocket science to it. Signal the programs where you want to go, and then when you get an interview from those programs, rank them according to your signals.
Wow, that's a cheat code, I would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And just talking about the flip side, because matching and ranking is a two-way street. Can you just walk us through what are the things that happen in the rank meeting, in that final day when the final ranking is being compiled? What are the things that are emphasized that put people up, people down, or just leave people neutral? If you're watching this and you're getting a great value from this, I would like to ask you a favor. 70% of people who watch this channel are actually not subscribed. So what I want you to do today is just subscribe and share this video with one of your colleagues. These times are very anxiety driven, and hopefully someone out there will get a lot of benefit from it. And just subscribing will help improve this channel and will help it reach out to people who also need to get this information. Okay, thank you very much.
So as I said, when we initially screen the candidates and we get them for an interview, we want to know them better. They already have been pre-selected, right? We want to know them better. And sometimes you want to convince them to come here, right? These are the only two reasons why we are interviewing, right? So eventually when we go to that meeting, the most important thing is whether this candidate will fit in the culture of the program. Number one. Number two, whether this candidate can offer something to the program in terms of their skill set, and whether we will be able to train them in a successful way. These are the top three things, at least, which have mattered to me.
And that answer sounds really, really great. It's just, it's a little bit difficult for us to measure because we are, as physicians, we are always trying to measure stuff. Where do I place this information? How do I use this information? I guess it's very difficult to quantify or measure.
So what I would say is that define what you bring on the table. Be at your best behavior. Be genuine. That is how you will showcase that there's nothing fake about you and you are going to be a good fit. Showcase what you bring on the table. That is what is going to justify whether you can offer something to the program. And then the last piece is whether the program will be able to train you. Let me give you an example. If some candidate comes in and says, the only place my future plan is that I only want to do electrophysiology from Harvard. Right?
Okay.
What do you think a community program will think?
I mean, that's a lot to go. You shouldn't.
So as a program, we do think about whether we will be able to make sure that they succeed in what choices they have, right? So be relevant in your choices, which you're talking about, right? If somebody comes to a community program and only talks about an NIH R1 grant, what are you going to do? How can you get them that? Right? If somebody is coming to a community program and has a very special need in terms of how they want to approach their residency, and every program has a structure which has to be followed, right? So be very mindful of what you're asking and what you're looking for, right? And trust me, those are the only three things which are considered in rank order list: culture, what do you bring on the table, and whether we'll be able to train you to succeed in life.
Wow, that's a very good way to summarize it. The other thing about ranking is, like, personally, my own personal experience and my friends, when we're ranking, we had this confusion about, do we rank a program because we think we will do well and thrive there, or do we just rank them because they have prestige? What would you say to that?
I would say rank a program where you think you will get what you want out of it. Let's say you want to do cardiology, right? Maybe your top preferences should be a program which has in-house cardiology fellowship then, right? So I think you have to see what your eventual goals are. Where do you see yourself? And obviously then there are multiple things. Demography, you have your spouse who is living an hour away. You have some sort of a climate you're looking for. You can't live in summers or winters, right? There are multiple factors too, but I think the first and most important thing is, does this program, what are my chances of matching in this program, and does this program give me what I need?
I mean, I had that confusion, but when I was ranking, I chose the program I was going to thrive. Doesn't matter, even if they didn't have an in-house fellowship. Well, I was fine, thankfully, But it was I definitely did rank a program where I thought I was going to get what I wanted to get from the program. And it was a great experience for me. And a couple of other things, we often ask questions about those people who may not match. Unfortunately, not everybody matches, and they have to soap. What would your advice be in terms of the approach for someone who is going to apply to soap?
I think you have to pre-plan a strategy before the match day. If you're having a strategy after the match day, you might be already late, right?
Right.
So have a plan. 9 o'clock, I get the email. If I don't match, what is my step 1? What is my step 2? What is my step 3? And what is my step 4? In this first half an hour, I need to do this. I have seen some candidates who were working somewhere and they couldn't even take a day off after the match. Imagine such a tragedy, right? So have your steps aligned before the match result is even out, right? So that you're prepared to go with full throttle into the process.
Wow. Wow. That's good to know. And I was having this conversation with somebody the other day, and the question I had was, if the rank list has not been finalized, and there is this candidate whose mentor reached out to the program and was like, "Oh, I have this guy, and I think he's fantastic. He has great clinical skill, and I think he's going to be a great fit for your program because of X, Y, Z. His strengths align with your program strengths." Does that help?
Yeah, it does, because if that person is a reputable person and can convince me that this really is good for you, your program, and this really is good for the candidate, absolutely yes. But again, it cannot be a generic email. It has to showcase something about why this is important.
Wow. Okay, that's really good to know, because there's so many things that is very confusing. Even the things that are simple, that appear to be very simple, are super confusing to all of us. And one of the biggest things is we sometimes will know what to do if we are told exactly what to do. How do I put it? Now, there's this talk about program fit. And while it sounds very straightforward for everybody, the applicants are very confused. What does program fit truly mean? It's something that keeps all of us awake at night. And so, if you were to explain it to me like a 7-year-old child, how would you explain program fit to me for me to be able to demonstrate if I am a good fit for a program?
Okay. So I think it's, again, there's no direct answer to this question. So I'll give you an indirect answer, right? I think knowing the candidates of the program can tell you a lot about the program, right? About what beliefs they have in terms of work ethics, and in terms of honesty, and in terms of morality, right? And understanding, again, the culture of the place is what is important. See, I might want somebody who is academically competent with a certain character, right? So it's like an antigen and antibody, right?
Right.
When this gets attached, then the effect happens, right? So it's very important for some characters to fit into the culture, right? And then you can have success after that. I think I demonstrated it in a perfect way, which I, in my best possible capacity, to tell you exactly what this fitting thing means.
Right. I think that gives me a good understanding what fit means for the first time, because I never really understood what that is. It sounded really, really, difficult to understand. So just, advice to the two sets of people currently in this match, and people future in 2027 match. But for those people who are currently turning in their rank order list, what is the one thing you will leave with them as an advice from a program director?
Hard work never goes to waste. Results will always be yielded. And time might be different sometimes, but results are always yielded. Because it's us human which see time in a very linear way, right? And if it is not yielded now, it will be yielded then, right? But eventually time is not linear. And I'm not going to go into the other dimensions of talk right now, but there is always this thing that you will get your dues no matter what. Keep on working hard. There is no reason why you won't. Be resilient, be confident, and always have that fire in you. You'll get where you need to get. No doubt about it. And if somebody tells you that you can't, stay away from those people.
Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for your wisdom. if I was going to ask you for just the last 5 minutes of something you could help us navigate. Recently we have these changes in immigration status, and some countries have been placed on ban, and there is like uncertainty. The H-1B now has the $100,000 cap. What is the perspective of the program leadership and program directors? What are your thoughts about applicants who are stuck in this limbo?
Sure. So we can only control what we can control, right? And there are ways advocacy can be done. There are ways, our voices can be heard. I think it is upon all of us as individuals or all of us as organized professionals, right, to advocate at an appropriate place. Until then, do what is supposed to be done, right? Because we can control only what we can control, unless until we work together from an advocacy standpoint, right? So my suggestion for those candidates who probably are affected by all this which you just mentioned is to be vigilant, keep an eye, things change. We know that dynamics always keep on changing, right? And again, the basic thing, if you have the passion, if you have the resilience, keep on working hard, doors will always open for you. And the doors are for success. They're not to get into a system, right? You'll get the success. Open the doors of success for yourself and keep on working hard and be resilient.
Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Asintuklu. I appreciate your presence. Thank you so much.
So thank you for doing this for the candidates and for the next generation. I think this is very meaningful, and that's why I agreed to come in here, because it seems like that you have good outreach and people will get benefited from this.
Thank you so much. Wishing you good luck in the match, and as usual, I'll see you in another one.